Bye, Mom, I'm leaving.
So many young girls are missing, but no one seems to care. Eyes dripping with the tears that me and 64,000 others have shared. No hope, no peace, no media coverage for others to seek. And even if you tried, you couldn't empathize, not knowing whether she's dead or out there being tortured yet alive. It's a different kind of pain I feel, stuck between my faith and what is real. I know God has her close, whether it's down here or in heaven. She was only 11 the last time I seen her face, but now my baby girl is gone without a hint or a trace. I have high hopes of her return, and I'm doing my best to stay strong. I just wish the cops understood my pain instead of being so quick to move on. Maybe if she was white, the story would receive the proper light. But I understand her being black makes her last on the list for those who feel that she should be found, so she just disappears in the mist.
Yep.
very hard living day to day, not knowing where your child is.
Paula Hill hopes that someone who sees these photos will help bring her missing daughter home and help mend her broken heart.
She's 8 on here. I wrote her on the back.
10 long years have passed since the young black girl in these precious memories disappeared without a trace. Her name is Shamika Cozy. She vanished just a few days after Christmas that year.
On December the 28th, 2008, that was the last day that I seen her.
You've come back to this neighborhood a number of times.
Oh, yeah.
Her daughter was here, just outside St. Louis, watching movies with her cousins when everyone woke up the next morning and discovered she was gone. She was 16 years old, a door was unlocked, and police believe she ran away, so they never searched for the girl.
They're not doing anything because they think she gone on her own. I don't know what to do. I didn't know who to turn to.
Shamika Cozy's story was different in the sense that she vanished without a trace.
Chandrea Thomas is a local news anchor and reporter who produces a podcast documenting forgotten cases of missing black Americans. This was one of her first.
Her belongings, her overnight bag was still left on the counters in the house, and she was never seen again.
She says police and the press often dismiss black cases as runaways.
It has been difficult to get some of these stories told when it comes to missing people of color, cold cases involving people of color. And I felt like if I can do my part as far as having this podcast, I can tell any story I want about whoever I want, however I want, for however long I want to.
At the Center for Missing and Exploited Children, Director Robert Lowry told us that roughly 800,000 Americans go missing each year.
What percentage of those are African American or of color?
About 60% of the reports that we see here in the U.S. that go in those databases.
More than half.
Well over half. It really breaks a lot of commonly held thought on who are really the missing children in the U.S.
The numbers show that missing black Americans are disproportionately represented. In 2018, more than 30% of all missing persons were black Americans, despite making up just 13% of the total U.S. population. But only around a fifth of those cases are followed by the news. Frustrated with little help and even less attention, Paula Hill and her family went searching on their own.
This idea that she ran away, you don't believe that?
No. No. Do I believe she left on her own with someone? Yes. But she was intending to come back. She was not intending to stay gone for 10 years.
We are in front of the Berkeley Police Station. This is the police department that was investigating this case. We ended up sitting down with Major Art Jackson, who is, of course, African American, and defends the way police are handling the case.
How come the police never did a search on this?
There was no evidence to support a physical search. This is one of the hardest things to investigate as a missing person, especially if a person is missing with, like I said, with no signs of anything, just voluntarily walks away. Now, if a person is missing, they've been kidnapped or anything like that, you're gonna have signs of struggle. You're gonna have things to go by to help you put that pieces of the puzzle together. So in reality, sometimes law enforcement and sometimes media, we like, hey, that person did it voluntarily. So that's on them.
It is quite the mystery, and there are dozens of missing persons cases that I've followed over the last few years where the effort on the ground and on the airwaves was massive and hopeful. But all of these cases have one significant thing in common. The victims were white Americans. I was one of the reporters covering 17-year-old Caitlin Fresina in 2017, who went missing in Florida. At the same time, 14-year-old Yania Javon Carter disappeared near Atlanta. Carter didn't get half the media attention, but luckily she was found alive. Natalie and Derica Wilson run a foundation that helps search for missing black and Hispanic children.
There are so many families of color who are desperately searching for their missing loved one, and they are just asking for just 1 second or a couple of seconds of media coverage, and it can change the narrative for them.
We also understand that the decision makers don't look like us, and so these cases are not sensitive enough where they want to air it.
We got more than an earful from this group of parents and loved ones of missing black children in Washington, D.C. They told us they'd take a fraction of the compassion and attention that went to the families of Natalie Holloway, Elizabeth Smart, Lacey Peterson, and so many others.
When you see me as an African American in this country out covering these cases over and over again of missing white children, it's depressing to you.
Yes. I know how many missing people of color that are missing. I would say, well, do he do his homework to talk about us?
Yeah, it pissed me off to see you reporting somebody's child other than mine. Me and this person's child can go missing around the same time. But I had to fight to get mine on local news, and this person's on national news with the FBI overnight.
Exactly.
I was like, I'm tired and I'm frustrated and I'm pissed.
They want America to take a greater interest in these names: Unique Harris, Christian Muse, Relisha Rudd, Keisha Jacobs, and Terrence Woods Jr., who went missing last October.
Tell me, if you each can tell me about your loved ones.
Well, my daughter Unique, I definitely miss her jovial attitude. She always could just walk in a room and brighten up the room, and she kept me laughing even when I didn't want to laugh.
Keisha, she was 21 when she went missing, but she was still my baby. She's the one that we used to have movie nights, and she'd lay up in the bed with me and we'll watch movies and eat popcorn.
As a child, 8-year-old, normal child, her laughter, her playfulness, she was very beautiful.
I'll have dreams about Christian, and in these dreams, I will be boo-hooing crying, in my dream. But then I'll wake up with that same feeling of sorrow, and no physical tears are coming out.
My son Terrence, he was my best friend. And this just recently happened, so, every Christmas he would put up the Christmas tree. So this Christmas it was like really different, and he was with 11 other people, but he's the only one that went missing without a physical trace. Like she was just saying, it just hit me like a gut shot. On Tuesday nights, he would sit in my room and we watch TV together and watch a movie together. I don't even like walking down the hall going towards his room. The sheriff department or nobody is really helping out.
Terrence Woods Jr. went missing last fall in the forests of Ora Grande, Idaho, where he was shooting a documentary. Within a week, police ended the search, saying no leads were obtained and no signs of Mr. Woods have been located in the search area. They also say they're continuing to monitor the situation. His father says they've told him nothing since.
I think a lot of people get the misunderstanding that we immediately get help from the police department. That's not the case.
But there's a small ray of hope shining on the horizon. At the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, they're bringing in representatives from local law enforcement and the news departments in the D.C. area to point these differences out.
We've initiated a minority children initiative here to examine that very question. Those large-scale searches, in our experience, have been predominantly for Caucasian children, and reasons that we don't always understand.
As for the families, their voices filled with anger and frustration, they say they'll never stop looking.
So, a number of you have been dealing with this for years. What advice do you give to this father who's 4 months in?
I'm gonna tell you straight up, don't give up. Like you said, don't accept nothing nobody say. Can't nobody tell you no, and you keep fighting until you can't fight no more.
And remember, that's your child, and nobody, and I mean nobody, is going to fight for your child like you do.
Do you expect to get answers?
Oh, yeah.
Everything in my heart is telling me that Keisha is alive, but I believe she is coming home to me.
Terrence?
My son is coming home.
Paula Hill shares this determined optimism. She and her other 2 children have submitted DNA samples to a national registry, praying for a match.
And this is her big sister.
And when she's down, she looks through these memories of the daughter she's missing and finds her joy.
I still have hope that one day I'm gonna find my child.
For Nightline, I'm Steve Osunsami in Washington.
Did you know there are more than 64,000 black women missing in America today? This has barely gotten any coverage from any of America's media outlets. These are evil times we're living in. Sex trafficking is real. Organ harvesting is real. Stop letting your children walk to school alone. It's up to us to protect our children, our sisters, and our mothers. If we don't, then who will?
If I say Black Lives Matter, they say all lives matter. If I say hands up, now a media disaster. If I talk about this or talk about that, then it remains a topic on the one-side track. Now my people, we guilty too. That's Monday through to Sunday. The only way we show ourselves is presented in one way. Exploit my brothers and sisters. PC so complex, you know, by 64,000 missing, and it's still on the low. Hush, hush, no media coverage. Rise above the fall, even though you stand tall in this controversial tale with no room to prevail, with no guidance. Across the lines make the ignorance dwell. Well, hey.
Black woman, where are you? The missing posters posted in hopes of your return have returned unto us void. Without you, there's no proof of life, just proof of lies lying dormant between your lips, ears closed to the sound of injustice, justifying your absence, adamant of dismissing your silence, while silently pacifying your whereabouts as if you have chosen to vanish. Their excuses do not excuse the numbers. 65,000 of you black women have yet to come home. Your disappearance is disparaging. We have been carrying the weight of our existence through labels attributed to us with persistence, insistent on shutting us out. We may be down for the moment, but not out for the counting the women that have us waiting on their arrival. As we hum hymns for her, while quoting scriptures from a Bible, while being taught our only means of survival happens when we are on our knees, with interlocked fingers, as our prayers turn into pleas, pleading others for the favors that one would call basic needs. See, invisibility must be our cloak, because we are still unseen. Black woman, where are you? My eyelashes are impregnated with the very tears that are still pressed against your eyes as they roll down from my brown cheek to the brown dirt. It's as if they know how much this brown skin is worth. Those amber alerts must have amnesia. Or could it be a direct representation of how the world treats you? In a world of black and white, your pigment is not an SOS. So time and time again, we have to be reminded to take precaution in a world where we are told that we do not blend in. And if caution is forgotten because we choose to let down the very hair that you drag us by, we are shown just how painful forgetfulness is. For so long, we have been marginalized, criticized for being caretakers, child raisers, free laborers, and midwives. So these are words knit together to form the tears wet from the lies. Because we are easily spotted when crime is the issue. But when the issue isn't a crime, we are invisible, labeled cynical, and we've been angry for so long that our rage is deemed inadmissible. So let my voice be used as a battle cry on their behalf as we demand an explanation to the inexplicable black woman. Wherever you are, we will never stop looking. Thank you.
Sometimes you need someone to lean on, and then you realize there's no one there.